everybody. Welcome back to End of the Veil. I'm Rachel. Great to have you here with us. I thought we would share something special with you. It won't be the whole process, but it was time to make some more Ormus. And I wanted to show you some of the magic that goes into it. I always set up all of my stones. I have my lapis, my crystals, various stones, smoky quartz, clear quartz, labradorite. There's just a really good variety. Tiger's eye, hematite, obsidian, and rose quartz, to name a few. And we also have copper nuggets that we use. We've got magnets on the outside of the jar, if you're wondering what these are. And we'll explain more of the detail for you. But Ormus is reasonably explained. It's considered half spiritual, half physical. Now you'll know if you've ordered it, we send it in foil because Ormus hates electromagnetic energy, and it will literally tunnel out away from electricity, away from anything that disturbs its balance. So we always recommend keeping it in the foil in a cool, dark cabinet. It's also very sensitive to direct sunlight and extreme cold both.
When we get done sharing this part of it, we'll play the original Ormus video that we made for the ones that haven't seen that, so they can have a little more in-depth understanding about everything that Ormus is and what it's about and why we've talked about it so frequently.
It's been a lifesaver to us, and I'm kind of jumping around because there are so many attributes to Ormus. It's especially effective on the neurological facets of the body, but it does work on a cellular level. It will work also with all layers of who we are, whether that's body, mind, spirit, and as it integrates, it will work with those simultaneously. But they say, and I have probably nothing but agreeance for this, they say that Ormus treats what Ormus wants to treat.
It will find what it thinks is the most prevalent issue with you and start from there and then work its way outward. I said most of that's going to be explained in the video if they continue to watch, but right now we wanted to show you a little of the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
So there's about a 2.5 hour process before we get to this point right here. And we start with 2 gallons of distilled water, and then we add our trace mineral and element supplements to it. Stir it, let it rest for 15-20 minutes, come back, stir it again. Basically, however long it takes for all of that to dissolve into clear water again. And one of the most important factors about Ormus, or monoatomic gold, is the gold. And so as an additive, we use colloidal gold, and if you've ever used that or seen that, a high quality colloidal gold will have a rosy color to it, and that's what she has there. So go ahead and add that in. Of course, the trace minerals and elements already had gold, silver, platinum, all of that in it, plus all of the minerals that your body needs for optimum function. And that's all dissolved into the distilled water.
You know, we treat our Ormus a lot like a person because it's extremely sensitive to the energy that goes into making it. We always make sure that we are as 100% internally as we can be when we do make it, charging it with the crystals, all these things. So some people might say, why do you have all the stones, and the music and the different things? Our energy is essential to the well-being of the Ormus.
It's definitely not a shake and bake process.
Oh no, not at all.
If you want it to be of any account and be beneficial, you have to put all of your energy into it as well.
All of your heart, yeah. So, okay.
So at this point, we've got a developer, and what this does when we add it to it, and she's not going to put it in there just yet until I get done explaining it.
That's right.
Some people refer to it as releasing the doves or dropping the mana. And when the developer hits the mineral solution, you'll see the minerals change from their molecular level of being attached together and clumped into breaking apart into a monoatomic singular form. And the reason why that's so important is because your body can absorb it, uptake it a lot more easily, a lot more effectively. In a colloidal state, for instance, you probably only absorb 5 to 10% of it, whereas in the monatomic state, you absorb between 85 and 90% of it, and it's able to go across the brain barrier between left and right of your brain hemisphere, which is another thing that we've talked about in different videos, and that will be in the end video with this.
And in the end video also, we talk about the repair to the DNA. It is the monoatomic state that allows that to happen because it's considered a free state. It's not suspended anymore.
Some of you are familiar with nanoparticles, and this is, monatomic state is almost to the point of being immeasurable.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We're ready to release the doves.
This is my favorite part, and I wanted
give it just a slow stir.
I wanted to share this with you guys because this is the magic.
And there they go.
There they go.
And now we're moving into a monatomic state.
That is Ormus that you see, what we call the doves.
What biblically is known as manna.
Manna. Mm-hmm.
This was found in a free state in different deserts across the world. And this was their sustenance. And it had everything that the body needed to thrive and survive in it.
Yes. And it's just incredible.
And once this process is done, all of the manna will drop out to the bottom, and then we siphon the distilled water off of the top and retrieve the manna, and that's what you receive.
I get so entranced watching the doves. More?
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that haven't seen the original Ormus video that we put together, we're going to play that for you right after this part in just a minute.
There's so many ways that Ormus can be effectually used.
You can apply it to a wound. You can take it internally. You can give it safely to your pets without any type of side effect. You can put a few drops in some water and use it on plants, make some amazing produce or amazing flowers.
So we just keep at it like this.
And this process takes probably another hour and a half to complete, so we're not going to bore you with that. Let's jump right over to the video and we'll show you what this looks like at the end.
Yeah, we just want to show you the magic. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Into the Veil. This is your host, Rachel. Today we're going to take you on a journey with us. Something very dear to our hearts, and we thought we would share it with you. You know, throughout the ages, alchemists and seekers of knowledge have searched the world over for hidden clues to forgotten wisdoms, the secrets of immortality, the fountain of youth, the Holy Grail, Philosopher's Stone, the Ark of the Covenant, great prizes to those who searched. Some were interested in turning base metals, such as lead, into gold. Others were searching for more ethereal transformations, using our own inner alchemy to transcend our 3D prison in order to reconnect with the divine, creative oneness that exists in the higher realms of awareness and that place to which everything originates from. To travel to Shangri-La, Eden, Atlantean Gardens, Valhalla, Elysium, Paradise. The list of descriptions and names are many and long. Today we're going to take a look at something that's profoundly changed our personal lives in ways that may be hard to conceive for some, but once you hear the information and start to connect your own dots, I believe you'll have a better understanding to some of the things we show and discuss in our regular videos. Today we'd like to share some information about an element or a substance known as Ormus, or Orme, which stands for orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements, also called monoatomic gold, ethereum gold, manna, gold powder, and so on.
Well, in our modern iteration, the credit to the rediscovery of Ormus is given to a man named David Hudson. He was a farmer, an occasional part-time gold miner, a citizen scientist, geologist, and a resident of Arizona. When he was using a mixture of acids that he was spraying on his cotton field, the hope was in breaking up the hard-packed soil for better water retention. He noticed afterward that early in the mornings there would be an unusual cloudy substance all over the fields. After the sun would come into direct contact, the substance would disappear, only to reappear later in the evening. Collection of samples provided the exact same results from inside of a bottle. There are several accounts of his scientific investigations all over YouTube and online. Take a search for them when you've got time. There is so much information that you could spend literally weeks delving into all of the different angles of it. The long and short of it, he had rediscovered an ancient element so important, so sacred, that it was even stored inside the Ark of the Covenant.
Some believe the discovery or introduction of Ormus was most likely traced back to ancient Sumer, connecting the stories of the Anunnaki and the reasons for their quest for gold. That's one theory, but we do know that historically it's been around since the earliest remembrances of man. Hidden and fiercely guarded throughout the ages, it has been killed for, died for, and entire civilizations have been founded around it. In ancient Egypt, it's a precious mineral referred to many times in temple scrolls. It was used by the priests and pharaohs during many of their rituals. The powder was made by the priests and used to make ceremonial bread cakes for the pharaohs so that they might live longer and be closer to their gods. Centuries later, in 1904, a British archaeologist by the name of Flinders Petrie came across a hidden temple in the Mount Sarabat area of the Sinai Desert. Inside the temple chambers he found huge quantities of the unknown white powder that in recent years was determined to be Ormus. Historians have suggested that this is the very mountain in which the Hebrews in 1400 BC, being led by Moses out of Egypt, camped at during the time of the Exodus. Moses, according to the Bible story, had been found in a basket in the reeds and rushes of the river, adopted by the Egyptian royal family, but in reality is much more likely to have been the half-Israelite pharaoh Akhenaten. Tutmosis, who was later banished to the Sinai area around 1400 BC for attempting to ban the worship of idols, and who developed the concept of a single, faceless God, and also attended to the duty of Pharaoh during his time in Egypt, he would have known all of the mysteries and secrets of the priests and pharaohs. Moses would have known about the bread of life made from the white powder gold. The Egyptians called the powder muflok, which translates into, "What is it?" But they knew it was no ordinary mineral. It literally translated through hieroglyphs to read spirit, fire, stone, part magic, part precious mineral. The word manna in Hebrew is also translated into the same meaning. Manna, miraculous edible substance from God, was provided to the Israelites during their exodus from Egypt and was stored by Moses in the Ark of the Covenant. This also sheds light on the strange story in Exodus when Moses, being furious that his people were worshiping an idol made from gold in the image of a calf, took the golden statue, burned it in the fire, ground it into powder, mixed it with water, and made the children of Israel drink it in order to be closer to God. Knowledge of the secret art of this alchemy was given to the Hebrews to carry out in Egypt. Did Jesus know about the secret process in his later time? Was he an alchemist as part of his gnosis training and teachings from the Essenes? And then there's the Knights Templar, who took their name from King Solomon's temple, which was the last known resting place of the Ark of the Covenant. They were famed for their secrecy and political power, and rumored to have unearthed vast mystical items during their secret excavations under the temple in Jerusalem. They created the first international banking system and amassed more money than the King of France. They also claimed to be the current guardians of the Ark of the Covenant. Was their secret discovery actually the lost knowledge of alchemy and making of monoatomic gold Ormus, the manna from heaven? The secret societies and elite, the royal bloodlines, all of these things share some common hidden knowledge, but that's a story for another day.
So that's a brief history of some of the origins of the Ormus, or manna. And our discovery of it came from a not so favorable event that happened personally to me a couple of years ago. I had a situation that I had an explosion go off in my hand and tore my hand apart and had to do 3 surgeries, lots of physical therapy. The situation we were in at the time, we didn't have medical insurance, and the doctor was, I think, 130 years old.
Oh, I thought he was 125. I don't know.
He was ancient, but he was a crusty old scoundrel. And when they released me from the hospital, I had no antibiotic, no pain medication, and his advice was to wash my hand once a day in bleach water.
Yep.
And that's how they sent me home. So me being my own stubborn scoundrel, I was determined to find a way to try to heal my hand, because that's been everything that I've ever done has been related to what I could function through my hands, between gun repair, playing music, the crafts that I made, the construction items that I built. It was
kind of endless.
You know, everything revolved around the function and use of my hands. So after a lot of research and not being able to afford going back and forth to doctors, I stumbled across a video on YouTube about Ormus and became intrigued, and started in the simple methods of trying to make some in a tin cup with spring water and a magnet. And it was okay, but it was a very, very weak concentration. And then we learned how to make it on a more effective scale, and I started taking it internally. I started rubbing it on my hand, on the wound, and immediately within a few days I could feel and tell a huge difference. The pain subsided a little bit each time, and the rate of healing, time-wise, was phenomenal. What would have taken probably a year and a half to 2 years for most people, I was at that stage within 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, closer to 5. You're right.
But it nevertheless was a very painful, traumatic process, trying to relearn and trying to reinvent myself, and trying to do things one-handed for half a year with a lot of downtime and nothing else to do but research ways to try to get better.
And even with the Ormus, it was a process. It was a little time. And for me, I noticed immediately in taking it that my stress levels came down to a very minimal level. At the time, I was running constantly for work, and it brought me into a very grounded, placid mindset. There was a lot more clarity, calm, a lot more calmness, and the things that normally would have concerned me or ruffled my feathers didn't seem to have the ability to do that very easily. And I really wasn't sure what it was doing for me, but that was the very, very first thing I noticed. And also noticed that I was actually sleeping better. Normally I only slept about 3.5 hours a night, and I was actually able to sleep a little bit more and more soundly when I did sleep.
Well, we'll talk about all of the benefits of the Ormus in just a second, but basically what Ormus is, all of the noble minerals, gold, palladium, platinum, copper, silver, iridium,
and more,
they are broken down through a process into a single monatomic form. They've been freed out of their atomic cage into a nanoparticle that your body readily absorbs and uptakes instantaneously. A few drops under your tongue, you don't even have to swallow, you just automatically absorb it into your system. But you can use it as an oral supplement. You can use it in creams, like if you've had burns or scar tissue or cuts or wounds, put it on as a topical. There's so many things. People will put some in a spritz bottle, a spray bottle, and just spray it in the back of their mouth. But to start out, we would take a eyedropper, and take 8, 10, maybe 12 drops a day. We increased that over time, but the 8 to 10 drops a day is a good place to start. But now I'm going to hand this back to Rachel, and we're going to go through some of the benefits of Ormus over the long term. This isn't something you're going to see within a week, but you will start noticing some things inside of a week.
Mm-hmm. So the benefits of Ormus, and I don't know if this list is actually even inclusive, because there are so many things, but these are the most documented benefits. It enhances lucid dreaming, more vivid and meaningful dream states, easier access to the alpha, theta, beta, and delta waves of your brain, communion with your higher self, like a direct connection with Source or the universe. It's known to detoxify the pineal gland, your third eye. It increases psychic awareness and abilities, and brain or memory recall capacity. It's known to balance the left and right brain hemispheres almost immediately. And it's said that it restores the crystalline balance of the pineal gland, which is what allows us to have this God awareness, God consciousness, or the awareness of our higher self, however you like to connect that. It dramatically makes a huge shift in life, spiritually and physically. It'll boost your energy, your focus, your clarity of thought. It allows for deeper meditation and increases melatonin to help you sleep deeper and in a more relaxed sleep state. Benefits of the mineral nutrients on a physiological level are immense. It helps heal and repair damaged DNA to allow your body to heal itself at optimum efficiency. In many cases, there are reports of miraculous turnarounds from individuals struggling with all of the major diseases that can overload and overwhelm our systems. It's been known to actually grow back broken teeth, return your hair to its natural fullness and color, increase the youthful, glow and appearance from lost years ago. And there's one video floating around about a cat. The owner had put drops of the Ormus in
a hand cream.
Hand cream.
This cat had got its tail cut off in a door. The door slammed on it and took the cat's tail down to about 1.5 inch nub. And this cat or kitten
had a fixation
for eating this hand cream while this lady would put it on her hands. And so she just allowed it to do that.
And the tail completely grew back.
We've seen the before and the after of the same cat, same kitten.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 3 months its tail grew completely back.
It was just incredible. It's basically a fountain of youth, the Holy Grail, the elixir of the gods, mana. We mentioned the Philosopher's Stone, prana, chi, vril, quintessence, sacred ethereum. There are so many names that this goes by. Studies performed on lab rats suffering from radiation damage showed just how miraculous this stuff is. Over 83% reduction of radiation levels over the course of 10 days when given twice daily. It's just a powerful antioxidant, a super antioxidant. It's as we mentioned, it's great for as an anti-aging boost. You can put it in different creams, or just put it directly on your face. You don't have to have a cream to put it in.
So we take it straight out of the bottle orally, and then if we cut ourselves, just put a few drops on and rub it in. You can give it to your pets in their food or their water to help their...
We've used it on our gardens.
We've mixed some in some water and sprayed it on vegetable plants, and
the production is just massive.
Had some amazing tomatoes and things grow from it.
Everything. There is no such thing. There is nothing toxic about Ormus. Ormus is in everything. Every plant, they've been able to...
Everything that exists has a level of Ormus in it. This is concentrating that into a mega dose. All of our food...
That's suitable for the human body.
All of our food that we have now has become so depleted of nutrients and minerals because of all of the chemical farming and reusing the ground over and over and over again. And this brings us back to our natural levels, our natural state, and then pushes it beyond.
Yes. So beyond, it nourishes the cells of your skin to help your skin cells repair damage from injuries, like Ken said, scars, scar tissue, sun exposure. For some, that's a real issue. It helps to alkalize the skin for people who suffer with acne, and it helps get rid of the bacteria that cause acne. It works as a natural antibiotic, similar to taking the colloidal silver. It helps decrease inflammation and pain in joints for people that might suffer with arthritis.
That was another big factor that made me want to experiment with it and start using it, because not only did I have the hand injury going on, I had suffered with psoriatic arthritis for a long time prior to that. I was on blood pressure medicine, I was taking steroid medicine for the inflammation. I think I was on 7 different types of medication.
Trying to
settle it. Just function. And after the course of 3 months, I wasn't on anything anymore. I didn't feel like I needed
to have it.
Blood pressure levels went back to normal. I've been over 2 years without taking any type of pharmaceutical medication at all, other than aspirin occasionally.
It's been just an incredible gift to us. Anybody that has worked with doctors, medicines, things like that, just how expensive they can be. Our bodies ultimately were never meant to take synthetic drugs, especially. Liver just isn't naturally made to process those things. And Ormus, something I can say is that a lot of people will take it with the intention of fixing this or fixing that. When Ken started taking it, it was with the intention of helping his hand, and ended up that it did, thankfully.
All of these other things. But what it normally will do, or what people normally will experience, within the first 2 or 3 days, they'll have a downswing where it has broken up the crud in your system, trying to get it out, to flush it out.
Detoxify.
It's cleaning you. And then it will start to affect the areas of your body that need the most attention. You might think you started using it to heal a cut, but it will start working on joint pain instead.
Right, and they say that Ormus treats what Ormus wants to treat, which sounds funny, but it knows what you need.
Look at it like a firefighter rushing to the scene of a fire. It goes to the hottest flame first and then works its way out.
Mm-hmm. And due to the increased clarity and the mental balancing of the left and right side of the brain, people who suffer with certain mental difficulties, it could be anxiety, depression, it could be mental illness. I mean, there are so many things. I know that traditionally, if someone had certain mental challenges, lithium and things like that would be prescribed to help create a balance. This creates that balance without the
toxic heavy metals.
Right. The frequency of the crystals in our brain become more harmonically balanced to help provide the feeling of it's an inner tranquility while we're constantly being bombarded by the outside world. It just really centers your sense of being.
You can be the eye of the hurricane while the storm is swirling around.
Definitely. And it harmonizes the relationship between consciousness and matter. And for some people this is a real challenge because, sometimes, how is it we used to say it? You can become so spiritually minded that you become earthly useless and vice versa. Some people are way too involved in the external world and don't have the balance on their internal world. So it really depends on the person. But you also become aware of the consciousness that shifts matter. It enables you to pinpoint your thought processes, your feeling centers. It works not just with the physical body, but it works with your personal chakras. There's nothing that this stuff does not touch in our experience. It's just unbelievable.
I'd like for you to repeat that line one more time so they fully hear it and understand it.
Okay, so we're going to back up. It harmonizes, it balances the relationship between consciousness and matter, and the awareness that consciousness shifts matter, as within, so without. It enables us to see our thought patterns, what feelings we're putting out, how we are investing our energy.
How your conscious matter and conscious thought
is affecting your external world. It gives you a perspective to put those things in line with each other. Now, this is not in 2 days or sometimes even a week, but it will go there. It will enable you that ability, given time and a little patience and paying attention to what you're receiving. It works with the physical body, but it works with the subtle spiritual body, the emotional body, and the mental body. It works with all 4 aspects of who you are, and it works with them in a harmonic and balanced way, so that you don't have too much attention going to just one or just the other. The 3 things that the body is basically made of are salts of the earth, the spirit, which is your mind and soul, and water. You are a walking crystal conductor. Ormus directly affects and tunes all of your inner being so that it's to its optimum crystal efficiency. To fully be the light bearers we are all intended to be. And something else that I can say, I have always been a natural channel. I have always been intuitive, empathic. Something over time that I noticed, and it kind of snuck up on me. I didn't actually see it coming or actually relate it right away, is that in our experience with the forest people and the nature spirits and these other things, I feel that Ormus accentuated who I already was in its pursuit to, fix my DNA. It has enabled me interdimensional, and what would be the other word I want? Communication with various consciousness, the God consciousness, but also the consciousness of anything that's there to promote growth, to promote healing, to promote the insight that's needed in order to bridge or fix a situation. And I give credit to Ormus for helping to open the parts of my mind that were necessary to channel our Sasquatch friends. I could not promise anyone that would be their experience, because that's between you, your maker, and the power of this supplement. But what I can say is it will put you deeper into the path that you were put here to fulfill.
One other thing to remember is this is not a drug.
No.
It's not really a vitamin. These are noble elements, gold, palladium, platinum, copper, silver. These are the minerals that are the foundation minerals of our being.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard of any negative side effects from Ormus from anyone. We've started off with small doses to get our feet wet, so to speak, and went to taking a full eyedropper a day, no issues.
And I've taken a break, in fact, the last few months from it, not for any reason except that I didn't feel drawn to it. But again, now I feel the need to start taking it again. It's almost like your body will tell you, your mind, your spirit will tell you when you're ready for that next.
We've had several people ask, how often do you take Ormus? And the answer is how often you feel like it's necessary to take Ormus.
There's no right or wrong.
You can take it once a day, twice a day, take it every day for a week, and then skip a week. It's whatever you feel.
And we're not, we're not doctors. We're not promoting it as what we would call a health supplement, but I can definitely call it a spiritual supplement with really positive side effects for the physical body, for the mental body.
And there's all types of places online that you can look at to find different people's versions of it. We obviously make it for ourselves. We've been using it now for a couple of years. We have some available. I'll put the email on the screen. If you'd like to order some, just send us an email and we'll give you the price and the shipping. It's extremely affordable for what you get back in return.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely affordable compared to, so many of the things that we're spending on. But all right, well, we're gonna wrap this up, and if you have any questions, as always, please let us know. But take the time, if you're interested, research this a little more. Always confirm any information you're given. But we look forward to seeing you the next time, and Have a good one. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Alright, so when the mix is first completed, it should look like mother's milk. It should look exactly like mother's milk.
Yeah.
And then we let it settle and strain off or siphon off the clear water, rinse it, let it settle again, etc., and so on. And the end product is the manna. The white will all settle out, and that's your monoatomic gold and minerals.
It is. So once it settles a little bit, we'll give you a shot of that because it'll look entirely different.
Alright, so here we're at 3 hours later, and you can see how it's starting to settle inside the canister. It'll take all night to settle down to about the halfway point, and then we can siphon off the clear water, give it a rinse with fresh distilled water, and then repeat the process. This will take about 5 days to complete of wash, rinse, and repeat.